आज हामीसँग एकजना यस्तो अतिथि हुनुहुन्छ, उहाँ नेपाली अलिअलि बोल्न सक्नुहुन्छ, पढ्न पनि सक्नुहुन्छ, नेवारी भाषा पनि अलिअलि बुझ्नुहुन्छ, संस्कृत बोल्न र पढ्न दुवै सक्नुहुन्छ। उहाँ हुनुहुन्छ प्राध्यापक एक्सेल मिखाइल्स। उहाँ जर्मनीको हाइडेलबर्ग विश्वविद्यालयको साउथ एसियन इन्स्टिट्युटमा पुरा विद्या अर्थात् क्लासिकल इन्डोलोजीको प्राध्यापन गर्नुहुन्छ। उहाँ डकुमेन्टा नेपालिका भन्ने प्रोजेक्टको प्रमुख पनि हुनुहुन्छ। हालसालै मात्र उहाँको एउटा किताब प्रकाशित भएको छ। यो किताब नेपाल अ हिस्ट्री फ्रम द अर्लिएस्ट टाइम्स टु द प्रेजेन्ट भन्ने पुस्तकमा लिच्छविकालदेखि गणतन्त्र कालसम्मको नेपालको सांस्कृतिक इतिहासको चर्चा, विवेचना र खोज अनुसन्धान गरिएको छ। आउनुहोस् उहाँसँग कुराकानी गरौँ। तपाईसँग कुरा गर्न पाउँदा अत्यन्तै खुसी लागेको छ सर।
मलाई पनि।
तपाईको इतिहासको बारेमा हामीले अलिअलि खोजबिन गरेका थियौँ। तपाईँ त संस्कृत भाषा र भारतीय संस्कृतिको बारेमा पढ्न बुझ्नको लागि बनारस आउनुभएको रहेछ 1971 तिर। अनि भारत पाकिस्तान युद्ध सुरु भयो, तपाईलाई फर्किनुपर्ने अवस्था आयो। त्यसपछि तपाईँ रक्सोल हुँदै काठमाडौँ आउनु भएको रहेछ। त्यतिखेरको समय सुनाइदिनुहुन्छ सर, त्यो सम्झना हामीलाई।
I came in 1971 for the first time to Nepal. I came overland in a Volkswagen. At that time there was war between India and Pakistan. So many foreigners came to Nepal and wanted to sell their car.
Volkswagen लिएरै आउनुभयो तपाईँ? कति समय लाग्यो तपाईलाई बनारसबाट काठमाडौँ आइपुग्दाखेरि?
4 हप्ता लाग्यो।
4 हप्ता? कस्तो थियो सर त्यतिखेर काठमाडौँ तपाईँ आउँदाखेरि? कस्तो देख्नुभयो तपाईले त्यति बेलाको काठमाडौँलाई?
At that time Nepal was quite different from what it is today. It was less populated, maybe 5 lakh manche. Now there are 50 lakh or even more. There was little traffic, only a few cars presented by the Japanese for the coronation of Birendra, King Birendra. And everything was very simple but very nice.
Banaras भन्दा फरक लाग्यो हजुरलाई?
Benares was a little bit more advanced, but also more crowded. And of course the temperature, the climate was completely different. In Benares in August, September, July, May, it was almost impossible to survive because it was so hot. No?
यहाँ कति दिन बस्नुभयो त्यति बेला हजुर?
In Benares I stayed 14 months. I started to learn Sanskrit and Hindi. And then when I came to Nepal, I always wanted to come back to Nepal. And 10 years later, I got the chance to come back by a project which is called the Nepal German Manuscript Preservation Project. Together with the National Archives, we microfilmed Sanskrit texts and catalogued them. And that project went on for 30 years, even more than 30 years. It was very interesting and fascinating.
जुन यो तपाईले भन्नुभएको म्यानुस्क्रिप्ट प्रोजेक्ट छ, जर्मन सरकारले सहयोग गरिरहेको, यसले चाहिँ नेपालको कस्ता कुराहरूलाई संरक्षण गर्न, के कुराहरू पत्ता लगाउनलाई यसले काम गरिरहेको छ, जुन लामो समय जन 3 दशक 4 दशक भन्दा बढी समयदेखि काम गरिरहेको छ नेपालको इतिहास संस्कृतिको संरक्षणमा, यो बताइदिनु न हामीलाई।
Well, the Manuscript project covered manuscripts from all areas, itihas, Sanskriti, Kavya, philosophy, sciences, and much more historical documents also. We were microfilming that, and I was responsible for the first expedition to go outside of the Kathmandu Valley. So we went to Gorkha to microfilm.
Gorkha janubhayo.
And we microfilmed manuscripts there. When we arrived, we told the people that we would pay them 25 paisa per folio.
गोर्खामा चाहिँ कस्तो खालको म्यानुस्क्रिप्टहरु थियो त्यहाँ? के विशेषसँग संस्कृतिसँग थियो अथवा
all kind of texts, yeah. Of course, a lot of manuals for the rites and rituals, the domestic rites, whatever, Padati and such things, but also epic manuscripts, Mahabharata, Ramayana. Not all of them were valuable, but we microfilmed everything, not to disappoint the people who brought the manuscripts. And then the problem was at that time, there was no electricity. No? And here in Kathmandu Valley, we had an office and where we could microfilm very well, and also in the National Archives, and we were well equipped. But there we would need a special camera with 250 shots, and also we had to hire somebody who would just move manually the camera. And then we had to develop the films in the field.
So you have to take a photo of this manuscript and came back to Kathmandu.
One copy was given to the National Archives, it's still there. Mm-hmm. One copy was given to the foundation, Prussian Foundation in Germany, which is all still there. And so anybody can use this material for making editions or reading it.
तपाईँ 50-60 वर्षदेखि काठमाडौँ आउने जाने गरिराख्नु भएको छ। पहिलोचोटि फर्स्ट टाइम तपाईँ काठमाडौँ आउँदाखेरिको काठमाडौँ र अहिलेको के फरक देख्नुहुन्छ?
Well, the main difference is the traffic, the number of inhabitants, of the people. Of course, the politics have changed. When I came, it was a monarchy. Now it's a republic. All in all, people are still the same. They have been quite resilient to all these changes. Of course, sometimes there's poverty and social problems, but the spirit of the Nepalese is for me still the most important thing, and I really love to be here.
नेपाली समाजको चेन्जेसहरूलाई पनि तपाईले देख्नु भएको छ। स्ट्रक्चरल चेन्जेस मात्रै नभएर सोसाइटीको चेन्जलाई चाहिँ कसरी हेर्नुहुन्छ?
Well, in society, things have become more open. Yeah, there's still caste system, but in the way one communicates and sits together and eats together, that has changed. Previously, when you were invited, I was fed, and all the others observed me while I was eating. Yeah. This sometimes also happens now, but it has become much less. Of course, in marriage, marriages, caste still matter. You know that better than me. And then English is much more widespread than it was at that time. And all the kind of modernizations that you have now were not there, like telephone, iPhone, social media. When I wanted to make a call to Germany, I had to go to the post office at 12 o'clock in the night to wait for 1 hour, and then only was the connection was made. So this is quite a difference. No?
धेरै परिवर्तन भइसकेछ।
No, धेरै परिवर्तन भयो।
खास गरी काठमाडौँको संस्कृति, परम्परा, जात्रा, तपाईँ खास गरी हिस्टोरियन कल्चरको बारेमा अध्ययन गर्ने भएको हुनाले यसमा पनि केही बदलाव आएको देख्नुहुन्छ कि कल्चरको प्रिजर्भेसनमा चाहिँ कस्तो छ हाम्रो समाज?
Preservation of the rituals and the heritage, the monument heritage, is one of the most important tasks in Nepal, because it is their identity. It's the identity of the country. Yeah, it combines people from different social strata, from different castes, to work on that. If you think of the Matsyendranath Jatra, for instance, or Indra Jatra, and also renovation of the temples after the earthquake in 2015 was a tremendous effort, but it was done very well so far, I would say. And that is a symbol, it's a sign of what Nepal is, besides nature and the mountains. The culture in the Kathmandu Valley, but also beyond, is one of the most important assets for the country, I think.
धेरै नेपाली यङ जेनेरेसनहरू बेला बेलामा गफ गर्छन् कि हामीले हाम्रो कल्चर बिर्स्यौँ, हाम्रो कल्चरलाई मास्यौँ, वी हेभ टु डिस्ट्रोय आवर कल्चर, हाम्रो रिलिजन, अनि वेस्टर्नाइजेसन बढ्यो भनेर गफ पनि सुनिन्छ। तपाईलाई त्यस्तो चिन्ता ठिकै लाग्छ कि लाग्दैन?
I don't think so. I mean, of course, they have been more westernized. Maybe they don't believe so much in the power of gods, but they still practice the rituals. Yeah? When it comes to the domestic rituals, life cycle rituals, like marriage or death rituals or Vrajapanda initiation rituals, they all do it. Whether they believe in it or not, they still do it. So I know of only very few Nepalis who openly refuse to do it. Yeah? And the same is true for abodes of the gods. Yeah, many Nepalis, whether they believe in it or not, still respect the temples. They make a puja. They go there in the morning, and they're proud of it. Yeah, in the West, not every Christian is a believer in Christianity. Yeah, but still they practice Christmas and festivals, and I think this is the same in Nepal. It has become more secularized, but still it's going on and it's preserved and it is liked by most of the people.
तपाईले बनारसमा संस्कृत सिक्नुभयो, काठमाडौँमा चाहिँ फेरि नेवारी र नेपाली दुईटा भाषा हाम्रो लक्ष्मीनाथ श्रेष्ठसँग सिक्नुभयो हैन? कतिको गाह्रो थियो नेपाली सिक्न, नेवारी सिक्न?
Lakshminath Shrestha became not only my teacher, but also my friend. And he was a really devoted teacher. He would only speak in Nepali to me. When I came for the second time in an official function as a director of this Nepal-German Manuscript Preservation Project and the Nepal Research Center, I remember after 2 weeks I was invited by Balaram Chitraka, who was the photographer of the National Archives, and the whole evening we spoke only in Nepali. I couldn't say much, but so Lakshmi was teaching Nepal through Nepali, and even I had to pay him paisa if I would use an English word. And so we became friends, and at that time he was quite poor, but we became rich through the years and by many people's teaching. And I invited him for crash courses to Heidelberg every year. So we had good times together.
नेपाली सुरुमा सिक्दाखेरि के कुरा चाहिँ गाह्रो रहेछ यो भाषामा, नेपाली भाषामा?
नेपाली बजार नेपाली मलाई आउँछ, तर विद्वान नेपाली मलाई अलिकति गाह्रो छ, बोल्ने गाह्रो छ, पढ्ने त्यति गाह्रो छैन.
पढ्न चाहिँ पढ्नुहुन्छ?
पढ्न सकिन्छु, तर बोल्ने मलाई आउँदैन.
बोल्न अप्ठ्यारो लाग्यो. अनि त्यति बेला चाहिँ तपाईले बाहिर समुदायमा गएर पनि नेपाली बोल्नलाई प्र्याक्टिस गर्नुभयो?
In Nepal, I try to speak Nepali as much as possible. In Germany, I also speak a little bit of Nepali with my team, wonderful team, Rajan Katioda or Manik Bhattacharya. We are working together since many, many years. But mostly we switch into English because it is easier for me.
तपाईलाई धेरै नेपालका मानिसहरूले अनि हाइडलबर्गमा नेपाली पढ्ने नेपाली विद्यार्थीहरूले चाहिँ नेपाललाई चाहिँ युरोपमा लगेर चिनाउने मान्छे हो भनेर भन्नुहुन्छ.
Yes, I try my level best, but I'm not alone. This book could not have been written without the help of my Nepali friends and colleagues. And I acknowledge their work all the time. For instance, if you think of the Mulaki Ain that we edited and translated recently for the first time, that was a collective work by Dr. Katioda and Dr. Bhattacharya, whom I just mentioned. So even if my name is in the front, without the help and the assistance and the advice of many Nepali colleagues, it would not be possible.
धेरैजना विदेशी रिसर्चरहरूले नेपालको कल्चर बारेमा, यहाँको भाषाहरूको बारेमा लिङ्ग्विस्टिक एनालाइसिस गर्नुभएको छ, हिस्ट्रीको बारेमा काम गर्नुभएको छ. फ्रेन्चहरू हुनुहुन्छ, जर्मनहरू हुनुहुन्छ, अमेरिकनहरू हुनुहुन्छ. धेरैजनाले नेपालको कल्चरको विभिन्न पर्सपेक्टिभ बारेमा रिसर्चहरू गर्नुभएको छ, किताबहरू लेख्नु भएको छ. विदेशी हस्तक्षेप जस्तो टाइपको नेपालको कल्चरमाथि वेस्टर्न पर्सपेक्टिभ मात्रै भयो भन्ने खालको कुरा पनि गर्छन्. तपाईले यस्तो कुराहरू सुन्नु भएको छ?
Well, I think in research it doesn't matter whether you're Western or Eastern or whatever. It matters, is it true? Is it correct or not? And I would not nationalize it. I would not make any difference between origin of the scholar. But I'm just interested in those who are good scholars and know a lot and are knowledgeable. So the impact of the Western scholars in Nepal is certainly there. Science and scholarship is, however, not a matter just of the West. So there are traditional sciences, And they are very good scholars, and I even acknowledged them in my book from Nepal. They who write in Nepali and who do not, mostly in Nepali, and who do not write in English or other Western languages, but they have to be respected, and their findings have to be considered when you write on Nepal.
तपाईले धार्मिक विषयहरूमाथि पनि रिसर्च गरिराख्नु भएको छ। अहिले चाहिँ नेपाली सोसाइटीमा एउटा न्यारेटिभ सेट भइरहेको छ कि पहिलाको तुलनामा धार्मिक पर्वहरू अनि जात्राहरू चाहिँ अलि मासिँदै गएको छ भन्ने खालको न्यारेटिभ चाहिँ यहाँ बनिरहेको देखिन्छ। तपाईलाई चाहिँ त्यस्तो लाग्छ?
Yeah, I'm very much interested in Dharma studies, legal documents, administrative documents. I'm also running a project on that. Again, together with the National Archives, we are working on documents mostly from the 19th century. And this has a lot to do with Dharmic issues, but it is quite unique material. So far, not many people have worked on this.
हाम्रो सोसाइटी त ओपन छ, एडप्टिभ पनि छ, वेस्टर्न कल्चरलाई पनि एडप्ट गर्छ नेपाली सोसाइटीले र नेपाली रिचुअल कुराहरूलाई पनि सँगसँगै अगालिरहेको हुन्छ। तपाईलाई के लाग्छ, हाम्रो सोसाइटी चाहिँ यो मिक्सअप कल्चरतिर गइरहेको छ कि आफ्नो कल्चरलाई पनि प्रिजर्भ गर्दै गर्दै openness भइरहेको देखिन्छ?
I think when you speak of culture, it is always mixed. What you call your culture is already a mixture of Indian influence and sometimes even Islamic influence. There is nothing like a pure culture. Culture comes into existence by defining yourself from others. That means you have already recognized the others. One should not speak of pure cultures. It's impossible. It's always transcultural in a way. But of course there are national elements in culture, and there's nothing to say against that.
तपाईले यो किताब हामीले पढ्दाखेरि र तपाईको विभिन्न अरु लेखहरू पढ्दाखेरि भाषा विज्ञान, हिन्दू धर्म मात्र नभएर बौद्ध धर्म बारे पनि खोज अनुसन्धान गर्नको लागि संस्कृत र नेवारी भाषाको अध्ययन जरुरी लाग्छ तपाईलाई?
Yes, I used all these sources in different languages. Sanskrit is important for the religions. Most of these texts are in Sanskrit. Nepali is important for all kind of material, especially, as I mentioned, the documents. Nevari is important for the Neva culture, obviously. And then there are so many other languages that have to be studied. I don't know all of them. I don't know, unfortunately, the languages which are also important in Nepal, like Maithili or Tibetan, Tharu, Rai Limbu, and so on. Yeah. So when one writes about Nepal, one mostly writes about the Kathmandu Valley. I tried to also cover a little bit the whole of Nepal, but this could not be done in the extent that Kathmandu Valley was affording, and also there are not so many sources in the hilly regions as they are in the Kathmandu Valley.
तपाईले यो किताबमा पृथ्वीनारायण शाहको बारेमा पनि कतै कतै मेन्सन गर्नु भएको छ। अनि पृथ्वीनारायण शाहको बारेमा चाहिँ यहाँ 1951 पछि मात्रै पृथ्वीनारायण शाहलाई चाहिँ शाह डाइनेस्टीले चाहिँ प्रचार प्रसार गर्न थाले, एक्नोलेज गर्न थाले, उनको प्रेज सुरु भयो भनेर पनि यहाँ छ।
That's true, but let's face it, Prithviraj didn't like Kathmandu. No, he stayed in Nuwakot. He didn't actually want to come down from the hills, and he's called the father of the nation in a way that is true, because he has extended Gorkha Raj up to the Kathmandu Valley. Everybody knows that, but the nation of Nepal was only, and the name of Nepal was only given officially in 1923. before there was no Nepal except for the Kathmandu Valley. Yeah? So he was the father of the extended Gorkha Raj, but that was not Nepal at that time. And the politicization and of Prithviraj Shah happened much later when he was already dead.
नेपाली समाजमा चाहिँ पृथ्वीनारायण शाह चाहिँ राष्ट्र निर्माता हुन् कि होइनन् भन्ने बारेमा चाहिँ नेपाली समाज चाहिँ डिभाइडेड छ. तपाईँ यो बारेमा जानकार हुनुहुन्छ?
Yeah, I've heard about that, and there are also articles on that. Figure of Prithviraj Shah is debated. That I'm aware of that. Yes.
नेपाल चाहिँ कुनै पनि विदेशी राष्ट्रको चाहिँ कोलोनियल स्टेटको रूपमा बस्नु परेन, सोभरेन स्टेटको रूपमा मात्रै रहिरह्यो. त्यही भएर पनि यहाँको कल्चर, आर्ट, हिस्ट्री सबै प्रिजर्भ भएको होला कि?
Yes, Nepal was always independent, although it was squeezed, as Prithviraj Shah already mentioned, between the big power places, China and India.
Two giant nations.
Between two rocks, as he said, no? A great success that Nepal managed to be independent all the time. Even in the period between 1791 92, when the Sino-Nepalese War happened, and 1814 to 16 when the war with the British India happened. They managed to remain independent. When we speak of Nepal in these contexts, we speak only of the Nepal of the Kathmandu Valley. The identity of Nepal is formed by the plurality of cultures, languages, regions, natural sites, literatures, and so on. And if that is kept as an asset and not taken into one Nepalese culture, then I think Nepal can remain a role model for the world even, because it needs a lot of tolerance and lots of freedom, and fortunately that is still there in Nepal, and I hope it will remain for the future.
हामी कुराकानीको अन्तिमतिर छौं. तपाईलाई एउटा प्रश्न सोध्न मन लागेको, हाइडलबर्गमा नेपाली विद्यार्थीहरू लामो समयदेखि पढ्नुहुन्छ विभिन्न विषयमा. कस्तो पाउनुहुन्छ नेपाली विद्यार्थी त्यहाँ पढ्ने विद्यार्थीहरूसँग तपाईँ कन्भर्सेसनहरू भइराख्छ? नेपाली विद्यार्थीहरू त्यहाँ पास आउट भएर के कामहरू गरिरहेको देख्नुहुन्छ? नेपाली विद्यार्थीहरूको एकाडेमिक स्किल कस्तो छ?
In general, it's very good. There are, of course, different Nepali students. Quite a number of Nepali students come for studying medicine or natural sciences and other things. To my department, or better to say, to my former department, Nepali students come to study Nepal, their own country. So they don't need to learn so much German, they don't need to learn other things, but they need to learn how one studies the history and culture of one's own country, and I have made fantastic experience.
तपाईको पास आउट भएका स्टुडेन्टहरुसँग तपाईको कम्युनिकेसन भइराख्छ होला, नेपाली विद्यार्थी जो हाइडलबर्गबाट पास आउट हुनुभयो?
Oh yeah.
In terms of research and academic.
Yes. Oh yes. I'm still in contact with most of them. Quite a number have got a degree, even a doctorate from Heidelberg University, and they have made their way. They have made their careers, and I think it has helped them to come to Germany, especially to Heidelberg, because Heidelberg is the center of Nepal studies in Germany, I would say even in Europe.
Thank you so much. तपाईं आइदिनु भयो, आफ्नो कुराहरु राखिदिनु भयो.
Thank you. It was a pleasure.
Thank you. Namaste, sir.
Namaste.